Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tatas Cave. This is season 1, episode 13, and on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about scams, frauds, and influencers. So let's get right into it. There's a lot of scams going on these spiritual streets. There's a lot of people saying that they have initiations and offering services and products, and then just not delivering at all, just in general, right? And even some of the times when they do deliver, they don't even have the ceremonies they claim to have. So then the things that they're giving and the services they're providing aren't even legitimate in and of themselves, right? So these folks, what they're doing, I don't know if y'all noticed this, but they're specifically targeting newer folk that don't know a lot, right? So they're looking up keywords, buzzwords that new folks look up and going after those and targeting those words. They're not targeting experienced people. They don't care for experienced people. That's not their target audience. What they're looking for is the new folks that don't know better, so that then they could put whatever they want in their mind and get whatever they want out of their bank. These scams have been running for a long time, and they get very creative with these scams. Like, I've even heard of a case where there's a certain specific priest, let's say for example, that they'll be like, you know what, I'm gonna initiate you, but pay me $4,000 for your Palo initiation, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna fly to Cuba and we're gonna initiate you in Cuba. And then they get there, you know, they take pictures, they put it up on Instagram and whatnot. They're like, yeah, I'm in Cuba. I'm the best. And then they turn around and they give the Cuban guy pops, the Cuban tatas and whatnot, and they give them $100. And they keep the entire rest of that $4,000 in their pocket. And then they sit here and they thrive off of that whole, I guess you could call it that whole experience, and they brag about it. You know, I was in Cuba. I must be legit. No, because even in Cuba right now, people is hungry. Okay, so if you go to Cuba and you tell someone, I want you to crown the shit monster on the top of my head, they gonna look at you and they gonna wanna laugh, because there ain't no such thing as crowning the shit monster on top of somebody's head. But if you got the money and that's really what you want, bitch, they will make it up, because they hungry. They are hungry out there. They are in need of food, in need of money, in need of so many different things. And so, you know what, if you come over here with this bullshit asking for some dumb shit, oh yeah, they're gonna make it up on the spot and they're gonna give it to you. So that in and of itself, just talking on that's like one of the most common scams, the whole going to Cuba scam. You get charged US prices, and then they take you to Cuba, and Cuba prices are different than U.S. prices. And even within the U.S., right, different areas of the U.S. have different prices in and of themselves. So you might be getting charged a New York price, which is way, way higher than, say, for example, a Miami price. So you're getting charged New York price, but then they taking you down to Cuba and getting the Cuba price for themselves, and they keeping all the rest of that money in they pocket. And they do it intentionally. This isn't something that, oh shit, my bad, I didn't even notice the price was different. No, hell no, they know. They pocketing all that change. They basically becoming the middleman and then taking the fame for it, the clout, and saying, yeah, I was in Cuba, so you know I'm legit. Man, if you don't get the hell on out of here, no, absolutely not. No, it ain't no need for none of that. If someone is really legit, they don't need to take you nowhere to initiate you. You should come to them and you should get initiated there. Right? Now, don't get me wrong. If that person cares about your finances, they will try to talk to you and be like, you know what? We could get it cheaper in Cuba. But I'm just telling you that, like, it's cheaper, but yeah, we're gonna go through some bullshit because we gotta fly all the way there, and then how the fuck we gonna get all the shit back and whatnot, all this other stuff. But it's a thing, it's possible to get it cheaper. But if they telling you, oh no, my price for doing it here is $5,000, my price for doing it in Cuba is $5,000, what the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on? Absolutely not. That's a scam. That's a scam. The same could be said about other scenarios where it's like folks will be out here talking about, oh no, because I'm an initiated priest of this tradition or that tradition, and they put it in their bio and they're talking all this fancy stuff, and I see them all the time on social media, by the way. I'm not gonna call out any names specifically, but it's a lot of them that be putting this shit in their bios. Oh, I'm a priestess of this, I'm a priest of that, I'm a this, I'm a that. And then when you ask them simple basic questions, they can't answer them. They don't know how to answer them. So how the hell are you a priest of anything? You don't even know how to answer the simple basic questions. You ain't a priest of nothing. You a scammer. Look, you might have paid for a title, and that's fine. You know what? More power to you, I guess. I don't know. That's weird to me, but you know what? More power to you. You bought the title. Cool. Now go ahead and sit down and learn something first before you out here having people blindly following you like you know something, because you don't. And in most cases, some folks that paid for titles, they don't end up really learning much of anything because, well, they paid for the fucking title. Paying for the title doesn't mean that you automatically get the learning that comes with it. Hell no. You paid me for your title. Here's your title. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Now go on and kick rocks. So that's even considering the fact that maybe they did pay for the title. Some of these folks don't even have the title at all. They don't have the ceremonies at all. They are not initiated whatsoever, and they are out here selling products and services relating to those titles, even though they don't have them. For example, there is no such thing as a Lukumi Aborisha. It does not exist. I'm tired of saying this. Lukumi Aborisha does not exist. It does not. In Lukumi, you are either Aleyo or Olorisha. That's it. Nothing else. There's no Aborisha. Aborisha is specifically an Isheshe thing, and that's a whole nother 2 cents. But in Lukumi, there's no such thing. Right? Please explain to me why I've seen several people, mainly on Clubhouse though, like not so much on the other social media platforms, but it's mainly on Clubhouse. But still, I've seen them with Lukumi Aborisha in their profile, and they out here selling this Oshun bath, that Shango oil. Like, if you don't get the hell out of here, you are full of shit. And people really believe the bullshit you're saying. And then people lose money behind it, and then you could ruin people's lives behind this. You a scammer. You know exactly what you're doing. You know good and damn well you don't have no ceremonies to be making no Oshun soap, no Shango oil. You know good and damn well you don't. The other ones that I'm seeing a lot of is people claiming titles. So let's say they'll have an initiation, but they don't have that specific title. Like, for example, someone just recently gets initiated in the palo. Now, they know good and damn well they are Pino Nuevo. But you know what? That's not what they're going to put on social media. Hell no, they're going to flex. I am a Tata and Kisi, and let me tell you about my services. Man, if you don't sit the fuck down and stop scamming these people, you are not no damn Tata and Kisi. You are at Nkisi is what the fuck you are. A whole fucking scam. A whole fucking fraud. But yeah, speaking on frauds, that's the next one. There is a lot of frauds. There is a lot of frauds, y'all. And these frauds are very disturbing. They can even get very popular. They could get very, very big out here on social media streets. And even on, the spiritual circuit, as long as their area doesn't know the truth, they just gonna continue to grow. As long as their following doesn't know the truth, they gonna continue to grow. Like I recently found out that there's, a specific house of Palo that does readings, Palo readings on top of Opong Ifa. Opong Ifa is this big circle plate that is specifically a part of the divination system of Ifa. Now, what the hell does Palo have to do with any kind of Ifa? And who the fuck told this house that they could use an Ifa divinations tool inside of Palo? It does not work. They are two different traditions. What the fuck is going on here? Absolutely not. But the whole house is doing it. And the elder of the house is telling people, no, this is legit. And then that elder is actually turning around and, to add credibility to their name, they're turning around and screaming at everyone else how they're not legit. Is wild. It's wild to see it. There's been several throughout the history of Palo. There's been several legit elders that really were legit. They started off good. You can call Cuba and ask about them and whatnot. And then somewhere along the lines, they just stopped doing things right. They just gave up on doing things the right way and started just blurring lines and saying, fuck it, I'm going to just cut all the corners and bullshit and collect this money. Again, I'm not going to name no names, but it's a historically proven thing. In Palo, anyone that's been around Palo long enough and knows about Cuba knows this, right? And to that end, I just want to know specifically where the fuck exactly people get the idea, because I've heard it so many times that it's now gotten to the point where it bothers me. Where the fuck exactly do people get the idea that Palo came from Puerto Rico? It did not. Okay? Simple. It just did not. Palo came from Central Africa. Manacongo, Manicongo. The Congo Kingdom, the old Congo Kingdom with a K. I don't trust not a single fucking Tata that spells Congo with a C. Because Congo with a C is after colonization and after slavery. It's Congo with a K. That was before colonization. That was before slavery. That would have been the Congo that we know of, that we study within this tradition. The Congo with the C would have come after our spirits and our ancestors were already ripped from that part of Africa. So we don't use that damn C, first off. But anyways, as I was getting at, Palo comes from the Congo, the old Congo. And yes, there were enslaved people that landed all throughout the Americas. That is very true. But you see, everywhere the Bakongo enslaved people landed, they had their own specific form of Bakongo shamanism adapted to that region. So in Brazil, you'll see stuff like what I don't even remember which one it is. If it was Kimbanda, Umbanda, Candomblé, I don't remember which one it is. But one of them is Congo based. In the U.S., you have Hoodoo. Hoodoo is heavily Congo based. In Cuba, you have Palo Mayombe. Puerto Rico went the other way. Puerto Rico did the voodoo thing. Same like Dominican Republic did the voodoo thing. 21 divisions. Sanse, stuff like that. Palo did not come from Puerto Rico. Palo came from Cuba. Came from Congo to Cuba, and then from Cuba to the rest of the world. I'm tired of hearing all this other nonsense that Palo came from Puerto Rico. What kind of bullshit is this? Absolutely not. If you are a Tata or a Yaya of Palo, and your words and what you're teaching to the rest of the world is that Palo came from Puerto Rico, then you're teaching bullshit and you're a fraud. Because no one taught you the real history of Palo. And then you're just creating more frauds because now you're teaching them more bullshit. It's time to stop lying. It's time to bring the real. Okay? So then that's one way you get caught up with all these frauds. Another way that you get caught up with frauds is there is really people all over the internet. All over the internet. I'm not gonna name them, that are specifically claiming titles, um, and doing services and products like selling this for money, but they know good and damn well they have no business claiming that title. They themselves are a fraud, and the services that they offer and the products they offer is a scam. And then the thing is, I even saw this one group. There's this one, I'm gonna call them a house. There's this one house of scammers that they band together, y'all. They'll have like, okay, this one makes candles, that one makes soaps, that one makes baths. So then they all jump on, the internet, and they all start promoting each other, like cross promoting each other and sending each other's followers to each other. And then they all start like referencing all the good reviews. But you know what? I could have good reviews too. I could pay anyone $20 to just put a good review, write a tweet and tag me and give me a good review for a product that doesn't even exist. I could deadass have someone writing a good review about the Air Tata shoes. Air Tata shoes don't even exist. But I paid them $20. They'll go ahead and they'll write that good review. But then I put that on my page. I put that up there online. And guess what? Guess who's going to fall for it? New people that don't know that Air Tata shoes don't exist. That's who's going to fall for that review. They're going to see, oh shit, look, other people are vouching for it. So then it must be good. So let me go ahead and talk to this person about Air Tata shoes. Now I could sell a pair of Air Tata shoes for whatever the hell I want. I could make them up on the fly. I could tell you, oh no, yeah, because look, these are even more exclusive than Yeezys, bruh. You don't even know. But what I'm getting at is there's a lot of nonsense going on with houses like this, that they all jump in and they all cross advertise each other, and they're sharing their followers, and basically not even sharing their followers, they're jerking their followers around in a circle. It's a circle jerk at this point. And all these followers keep going to these people, looking for help, looking for information, looking for answers, and they ain't getting shit. But you could pay them though. But you could definitely pay them though. So this is a scam in and of itself. And then they even recruit people to come and, be a part of the family and get real clicky and then cross advertise some more. It's interesting because when they do these kinds of things, when there's houses that do these kinds of things, is really giving MLM. And if you don't know what an MLM is, kind of like a pyramid scheme. It's kind of like multi-level marketing. So, there's people that are above others, and then you advertise them, and then those advertise those, and next thing you know, the money keeps going uphill. And y'all just keep pulling money in from each other's followers and each other's online presences. All this stuff is all bullshit, okay? Spirituality should be about people first and then money. Don't get me wrong. It's bullshit for me to come out of my pocket, lose a day of work, lose time away from my family, just so I could help you. Absolutely not. That's bullshit. If I'm gonna go ahead and help you, make it worth my time. You know what? Put a little something in my pocket. Put a little something in my pocket. Especially if you're a stranger. If you're a God kid, that's a whole different story. But if you're a stranger, put a little something in my pocket. Make it worth my time. I done lost a day of work. Make it right. Why should I come out of my pocket to help you when you won't come out of yours to help me? So yeah, that part I can see, but I'm not understanding this multi-level marketing thing where we just pulling all sorts of money in from everywhere, and everybody could just shut up and pay us, and we're gonna do the bare minimum about giving information, obviously, because all you really got to do on social media, for the record, is speak with confidence. Even if it's a fake confidence, you could fake that, right? You speak with confidence. You just, hey, look, let me tell something to you. Siete Rayo got the biggest fucking lightning bolt out of any motherfucking god, and that's a fact. Period. And I guarantee you there will be people that believe that. Next thing you know, you getting DMs asking, who the fuck is Siete Rayo? And here you go. Here in comes the sales pitch. So yeah, it doesn't even require there be a lot of information shared. It doesn't require there be any real titles, any real wisdom. And I mean, one of the best ways to skate around the I don't know too much part within spirituality is to just go to speaking on history. So you got to understand, right? A lot of these ATRs, ADRs, whatever y'all want to classify them as, a lot of these traditions come from slavery. Slavery brought them to these countries, to these Americas, right? And so, a lot of these traditions have traumas. A lot of the people that are from these diasporas have traumas. They're hurt. Still, these are unaddressed things. There is still, people are still suffering behind slavery even now. It's not the same kind of suffering that was going on, but it is a different kind of suffering, but it is still suffering, right? Suffering is suffering. There's no such thing as like my suffering is greater than yours. All suffering is suffering, period. So, there's people still suffering behind these traditions and what happened. And you see, that makes it very easy to trigger people into their emotions, right? Because all you got to do, they ask you, oh, what do you know? Tata, what do you know about Nkisi Malongo? Oh, yo, que yo sé Nkisi Malongo? Oh, let me tell you about the history of how the enslaved people arrived in Cuba. Hold on, wait. What the fuck? That is not Nkisi Malongo. Don't get me wrong, it's a part of the history, it's a part of why it's here, but that is not Nkisi Malongo. They asked me what I know about Nkisi Malongo, not what I know about how it got there. And that's the best way to skate around not having the wisdom, not having the knowledge. Instead of answering the tough questions and helping people and giving them real information that can really change their lives and really help them, you hold that shit close to the chest, because in most cases a lot of these frauds and scammers don't really know that information in the first place, right? And they pick up some books on slavery, the history of slavery. They learn that, right? And then they turn around and they'll tell you, listen, let me tell something to you. Let me tell something to you. Nkisi Malongo is the way it is because, one time in Puente Canima, no, you don't know shit. You don't know shit. You just bullshitting it. You faking it till you making it. You don't know shit. And the new people don't know that. And they keep hearing these histories repeat over and over again. And they keep hearing all these like deflections. And they don't understand that they are deflections. And they're like, oh my God, you know so much. Look at how much you know about the history of it. That don't mean shit. History is in history books. Tell me something for real. Tell me something for real. Tell me something that could fix my life. I'm going through some shit right now. Can you help me? Or does that help come at the end of a barrel? And that barrel specifically says pay me or get fucked. Because that's what it's looking like for a lot of these scammers and frauds. It's looking a lot like that. They clicking up, making all sorts of like online presences teamed up, like the little Power Rangers or whatever. Cross advertising each other, getting each other's followers caught up with each other, giving the very bare minimum because they don't know shit, but then doing the most and charging the most for services and products. This is what the scam and the fraud looks like. Now they sitting here eating thousands and thousands of dollars off of a community that's really just looking for help and trusting them to be the help that they should say they are. And meanwhile, they ain't getting help for shit. And that person just sitting here leeching off of the community. A whole parasite. A whole fucking parasite to the community they come out of their mouth and say that they serve. So be careful with these scammers and these frauds, y'all. And some of them are even social media influencers. I'm going to get on their ass. Oh, yes, I am. I'm not going to call anybody out by names because, again, this isn't about anyone specifically. You know? Don't get me wrong. There are some people that when they hear this, they'll feel attacked. They will feel attacked. But if you feel attacked behind these words, it's because you're doing something wrong. Okay? If you were doing the right things, you wouldn't feel attacked by this. This wouldn't even resonate with you in your head at all. You would be sitting there like, oh shit, let me grab my popcorn. Who the crazy man talking about this time? That man always going off on somebody. He always calling somebody out. But it wouldn't register to you. It wouldn't resonate to you that I am attacking you unless you know good and damn well that these words that I'm using to describe the scams and frauds describes you by your own standard. By your own mind, you fit that description. In that case, if you're mad, be mad. I don't give a shit. That's just what it is. Because you shouldn't be scamming out here. You shouldn't be fucking a fraud. You shouldn't be taking people's money and not delivering services. You shouldn't be circle jerking people around and giving them a whole bunch of nothing but broken promises and empty lies. This is not okay. None of this is okay. So if you're going to be mad at me for calling that out, go ahead and be mad. But I'm just letting you know, history will tell you that I am right. And I have always been right. I have a track record for calling people out. And then, some time passes and boom, everything blows up. And next thing you know, it's coming out that they were full of shit. They were a scam. They were a fraud. I have a track record for that shit. And that's because I'm an elder. I'm responsible. I have God kids, damn it. I have a whole house. I have people that look to me for reliable information. Don't get me wrong. I'm not the best thing in the whole world. I'm not the best super mega ultra tata in the whole world. But you know what I am? It's responsible. And when I see bullshit, I'm going to tell everybody like it is. That's just bullshit. Because when you're looking to me for answers, the last thing you want is to see me, the one that you trusted, pointing you in the direction of someone that's going to rip you off. So when you see me going off, I need you to understand it has nothing to do with anyone in specific. I don't actually hate nobody on any platform, on any side of the internet. I don't have beef with nobody, nowhere. Even other Tatas. I mean, I've seen a few comments here and there from some other Tatas, you know, cracking jokes or whatever. But like, you know what? Y'all go ahead and crack jokes. But you know what? I'm actually Cuban. You pretending to be me. Let's get that straight. Y'all pretending to be me. Y a mí me vale pinga todo. Yo sí soy cubano. Y le parto el culo a todos ustedes. No se jueguen conmigo. But anyways. What I was getting at is, like, before I went on some unresponsive shit, they pretending to be me. A lot of these scammers, a lot of these frauds, they're pretending to be me. Don't get me wrong, I'm not the best. But at least I'm legitimate. And at least I try my best. And I teach everything that I was taught. And I do it the way my God Pop taught me. And I do it the way his God Pop taught him. And we do it from the heart. Fuck money. Money doesn't come first. People come first. If the money comes, then oh well. The money comes. But people come first around here. Now y'all done heard the alert. I done got worked up and now it's all sorts of alerts going on. Good Lord. Anyways, as I was saying, people come first around here. A lot of these scams and frauds, a lot of these influencers are scams and frauds. There's a lot of them. I'm gonna implore you, please look around these social media streets, these Instagrams, look around these Twitters, look around these clubhouses, look at people's bios, look at their profiles, look at the shit they put on their bios and their profiles. Use your discernment, try to understand why would they put this here. You cannot tell me you are a Lukumi Aborisha selling me fucking oils. No. Bullshit. Fuck you. You lying. And stop lying to these people and taking their goddamn money. You cannot tell me you're a fucking Oriate, the big bad Oriate, but you out here want to talk about Akang. What the fuck? If you were Akang, why did you claim Akang? What is you doing? You cannot tell me you're a Babalao, but let me tell you what Ifa said about Palo. That's not how that works. Stop it. Stop all these scams. Stop all this bullshit. And this goes out to everyone that hears this. This isn't just about the scams and the frauds and the fucking influencers. This is on you to use your discernment. Hear some words of wisdom. The devil don't know because he's the devil. The devil knows because he's old. I've been around these spiritual streets for a very long time. I done seen all this bullshit. Ain't none of this bullshit surprises me no more. Learn from someone that's been there for years. Do not trust these motherfuckers out here that put fancy words in their motherfucking bios just on the strength of their bio. Have them sit down and say something, teach you something, talk about something. And not all this other bullshit where they be speaking in circles, but they ain't talking about shit. None of that. Fuck all that. And fuck the wordplay that they be doing, all that other bullshit. Fuck all that. Talk about something for real. Teach something for real. Something that can actually help the community that you supposedly serve. Teach that. Then maybe I'll be willing to take you up on your word of what's in your bio. Because all these bios, all I see is a bunch of fucking lies. You have no idea how many times, just on Twitter alone, I see someone put, oh, I'm an Iyanifa. And then I DM them and I'm like, hey, real quick, how many Odus is there? And they're like, oh, I don't know. Man, if you don't get the fuck out of here. Oh, no, because I'm a Babalao. Hey, real quick, can I ask you something? If you're a Babalao, can you explain to me my Odu is this? Oh no, because you see, I don't know that Odu. What the fuck you mean you don't know that Odu? These are all things that are out here that are going on. I see people that are like, oh, I'm a Tata in Kisi. I have a Ciento Rayos pot. First of all, no the fuck you don't. Because that does not exist. Ciento rayos does not exist. Siete rayos does, but not ciento rayos. Second off, no, because you can't even pronounce the shit right. Absolutely the fuck not. You are not going to sit here and tell me that you've been around this shit for generations. It runs in your family, and you can't even pronounce shit right. Nope. Imagine someone that their family been speaking English for generations, not knowing how to speak English right. Bitch, how? How? That don't make no damn sense. So it's a lot of that going on with these influencers, and I seen a while back there was one specific one that I'm definitely gonna name this one because he really pissed me off. I caught him in a space talking some other dumb shit about Lukumi Aborishas and Ilex and Ibojus and Ibajas and all this other bullshit. Reading an Odu book, like pretending like he knew the Odu. And I caught him in this space and I specifically called him out. I raised my hand, I came up here and I'm like, there's no such thing as Lukumi Aborisha. The fuck is you talking about? Oh no, because you know in certain parts of Cuba. Bitch, don't try to tell me nothing about fucking Cuba, bitch. I'm from Cuba. I know what the fuck I'm telling you about my fucking island. There's no such thing as fucking Lukumi Aborisha. It doesn't exist. It never has. And Isheshe, there's Aborisha, but not in Lukumi. And they wanted to go ahead and start like debating about it. And no, because you know certain houses. All right, then give me your godparents' names. I'm gonna call them in Cuba and figure out what if this is the bullshit they taught you. Man, oh man, how quickly I was blocked after that. For the record, another thing I be catching. Look, just on this alone, I said it all. People be practicing lukumi and wearing them beads around their neck. And when you ask them what those beads is called, they say ileke. Ileke. That's cool and all, but the word for it is actually eleke. Eleke. Not ileke. Eleke. That's the actual name for it. Eleke. Not ileke. I don't know where the fuck the E came from. But absolutely not. Not in Lukumi anyway. Maybe that's an Isheshe thing. Maybe in Isheshe they will call it Ileke. But in Lukumi it is Eleke. So now think back to all the people that y'all know of that be all over goddamn social media talking about some, oh yeah, I'm in Lukumi. Look at my Ilekes. Go to hell. This same motherfucker was in that space before I managed to get up, was talking about Iboju, Ibaji, Ibeju. It's Ibeyi, Ibeyi, Ibeji, Himawa, Los Gemelos, the twins. Ibeyi. How can you not pronounce this when you're supposedly generations into the traditions? How? How do you not know this? It's literally one of the most common orishas in the entire practice of Lukumi. Ibeyi is so common that you can even receive Ibeyi before initiating to be an Olorisha. You can receive Ibeyi as an Aleyo, just like warriors. And even warriors, Ode. When you receive Ode, that's what that's called, warriors. We receive warriors as Aleyo. You can receive Ibeyi as Aleyo. You can receive Olokun as Aleyo. So it makes no sense for someone that's supposedly in all of this to be out here mispronouncing the fuck out of a name of a common Orisha. And you could tell this person was full of shit because they would read Odu. And I know they were reading Odu because everything was spot on, perfect. Everything, every word was perfect. Every I was perfect. Every T was perfect. Every word was perfect. Except for one thing. They couldn't pronounce not a single one of these fucking words if their life depended on it. They knew all the words, but just couldn't pronounce a single fucking one. Bro, you reading from a book. You ain't never really sat down with an elder for any prolonged period of time and heard them speak them words. No, you read it from a book, so you don't know how those words are supposed to be pronounced. That's why you can't pronounce them, because you read them from a book. You don't know how they're supposed to be pronounced because you don't have that personal experience of being next to an elder for a prolonged period of time and hearing those words over and over and over again. So you're lying. You're lying to these people when you told them, oh no, because I grew up around this on multiple generations. And go to hell, bro. Go to hell. And I'm talking about in that specific scenario, that was Marcelo, y'all. And this is why I called him out when I did call him out. But you know what? The reason why I kept spazzing out even after everyone jumped on him and saying no, because everybody needs to be held accountable. Everyone that was responsible. Because Marcelo came out of nowhere. And there was a lot of people that gave Marcelo a platform. They kept retweeting him. They kept kikiing with him, commenting on his tweets while he was saying bullshit, commenting on it and liking it and spreading it to their followers. And meanwhile, their bios is saying, oh, I'm an Olorisha. I'm an Iya Nifa. I'm a Babalawo. All these people were there. And all these people had titles and bios that said that they should have known better, and not a single one of these motherfuckers came in to stop this shit and to call this motherfucker out when I called him out. I was alone, and everybody, every single one of his little followers jumped on my ass and started talking about how they hate me because, oh, I got problems with Marcelo. Every single one of y'all motherfuckers jumped on my back for calling him out. But the ones that were there, that had all these fancy ass bios and all these fancy ass titles and pretending to be something that they're not, didn't call him the fuck out. They made him possible. They gave him the almost 4,000 followers for him to fuck around like that. They did that, not me. I never retweeted that motherfucker like that. I never commented on his tweets. I never nothing. The only thing I did was jump into space and say, "Sir, you full of shit." And I got witnesses on that. I got receipts for this. But what I'm getting at is that's why I jumped down people's throats saying, no, everyone responsible needs to be held accountable. Because don't get me wrong, Marcelo did it. Yes, he did. And he's a whole punk ass bitch for doing it. But there was a lot of people that helped to install him in a place where he could even do it in the first place, that were claiming fancy titles and stuff like that in their bios, and they were creating a sense of authority in their bios and in the way they spoke, and selling this product and selling that service, and bringing their followers to him with the keying and the retweeting and all this other stuff. They did that. But you know what? They did it because they weren't no better than him. Because they didn't know better. But at a certain point, someone has to be held accountable for this shit. Somebody has to sit down and say, you know what? I was wrong. I was initiated wrong. I was taught wrong. I was told I could do this. Let me stop, because now I see the error of my ways. Let me do it for real. Let me sit down and learn how it should really go. But a lot of these scammers and a lot of these frauds never do that in their whole fucking life. They see that they wrong, they get called out for being wrong, and they keep going and they keep pushing. And then they start talking about let me tell you how I'm a Tata that's gonna try to push sign initiation on you, sir, if you don't go to hell. But yeah, there's a lot of people that do this kind of stuff, and they don't ever correct the mistake. Don't get me wrong. If you fuck up, everyone in life fucks up, right? No one in this entire world can tell me that they learned to ride a bike by sitting on it one time, pedaling, and that's it. They never fell. They never fell. From the very first try, from the very first time, they had it already. No one could say that. Same thing is true with these traditions. No one can tell me that they just opened their eyes one day and said, you know what? I'm going to do these traditions and never make a mistake and never have a problem. No one could tell me that they did that. Because anyone that is legitimate and has been around this game for a long enough time will tell you we have all made mistakes. Especially in our earlier years, we make more of them. In our later years, not so much, because now we have the experience. But in our younger years, we'd make a lot of mistakes. And then as we grew out of them, we became better elders for it. But first, we had to acknowledge when a mistake was made in order to fix it. And there was none of this. There was no accountability for this. Everyone washed their hands of this one scam and fraud, and nobody took accountability. No one took responsibility for being the ones that gave him that platform to be able to do all the shit he did. For the record, according to the Orishas, he was blocked. He shouldn't have been teaching shit. He didn't have no God because he couldn't have no God because he couldn't be a teacher. He was blocked by his own fucking Orishas, supposedly, according to his own words. He kept saying, I'm nobody's elder. That means he had Oshemeyi on his head. He is nobody's elder. He can't be nobody's teacher. No one. He should not be guiding no one. He is a guest in this tradition. He got saved by the Orishas, but he should not be speaking on the Orishas ever. That is for him and him only. No one else. That's what that means. But you know what? I'm going to leave it alone. But that's just one of the many scammers that are out here. And that one had a clique or like a little house. You see what I'm saying? Of his own that he started. And a lot of folks didn't even know that they were a part of a clique or a house. On some wild shit. They didn't. They just followed, and they liked to see, the funny stuff and maybe the informative stuff that they were seeing, right? They didn't know they became a part of that. But then whenever he would say, oh no, because this person did this, every one of his followers would believe him just on the strength of his words. And see, that's when you realize you did become a clique. You absolutely did do it. You did rally behind a bullshit ass leader. A person that isn't even allowed to be an elder. A person that's not even supposed to be teaching you in the first place. He is already breaking rules just in teaching you. And if he's willing to break one rule, he's willing to break all the others. But, I'm getting out of the context here. I'm going on a tangent. I'm just pointing out that just like this, there was this one clique. And just like this, there are many more. There are many more all over the internet. There is cliques of people, these little MLMs, these little pyramid schemes, these little groups of friends that are jerking everybody around on the internet and taking them for all their damn money. And people don't see it happening in real time. But when they do see it is when something happens that they can't afford this no more, and they get off that little bandwagon. And then their eyes are open to, wait, you never really cared about me. You cared about the money I spent on your services and products. Then all of a sudden it's a real thing. Then all of a sudden it's like, that fucking Tata guy was right. But you know what? I have a responsibility to call it out. Keep this in mind. I called this out on this podcast on this day. No one can ever say I didn't call this out so that the new generation coming in could know what they're walking into. I called this out. It was me. Even if I'm by myself and calling this out, it was me that called this out. It's time to let the real elders speak, and it's time for all the scams and frauds to go ahead and stop bullshitting these new folks. And these new folks need to start gaining some damn discernment and start finding out who real elders are and how to find them, instead of chasing around every fucking scammer and fraud all over the goddamn internet because they have a large audience. A large audience don't mean shit. For the record, if I had $1,000 right now, by tomorrow morning, my Twitter profile, I could make a brand new Twitter profile. $1,000 by tomorrow morning, I have 100K followers. You really gonna believe me based on that? That's a business investment. I invest $1,000. I get fucking a bunch of people to now believe me that I'm legit because I have 100K followers. That's a business investment. Because if I spend that $1,000, guess what? I can make it back in all the product sales I'm gonna make. Everybody gonna be like, oh my God, he's so legit. Let's buy his shit. Yeah, that's a business investment. That don't mean shit. Followers don't mean shit around here. That does not mean shit. But anyways, I digress. Y'all, it's been fun talking. A little bit passionate, I know. But for real, keep your eyes open with these scams and frauds and these quote unquote influencers that really should not be trusted. Keep your eyes open, man. Keep your eyes open. Keep your mind open. Be blessed, and remember, it's always the ancestors first.